How's it going, everyone? My name is Lunar. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we are going to go over how to hold B-Site Mirage and what is the best way to hold B-Site Mirage. With that being said, in my personal opinion, there is three main ways you can hold B-Site Mirage. Number one, a passive hold, which allows more time for your teammates to rotate. Number two is going to be a passive-aggressive hold, getting a little bit more beginning information into the round and then holding a passive hold from there on out, or essentially just waiting and playing off of the other team's aggression after getting some early information. And the third way is going to be a full-on aggressive hold where you're going to take full control of B apps. When it comes to a passive hold, people tend to throw a pretty early smoke into B apps. The best way to do that without exposing yourself is getting into this corner where the trash can is at, aiming at this little point from the shadow here, and then just off to the left just a little bit. And then as you can see, this will land perfectly smoking off B apps. From there, most of the time you have a player playing cat, but I am just going to address solo concerns for this video because a lot of the time and in certain situations you will have teammates that won't communicate, things like that depending on what you're playing. So I do want to have this video just be able to address everybody, but with that being said, most of the time you will be jump spotting it after seeing that smoke. Now, in this specific example, say you do see someone that is pushing. There's one and two things that you can do. If you don't get flashed off, you could very easily get into the end of this corner right here, aim at the bottom corner of this wood where I'm aiming at right here, and throw a flash. It makes a little great pop flash there, and if need be, say someone mollies you off in this area on van, you could always toss this flash real quick as well too, once you learn the lineup, and then from there you can actually get out of there and you don't have to push any longer. Now, if you also are in this spot, a lot of the time when you do see someone, it most likely will turn into a rush since you did spot someone, and they will bomb flashes over. So say you do end up getting flashed in this certain scenario, your best bet is going to be falling back. And the best option, in my opinion, is to fall back to this pillar. I will go over why in just a second, but as you are falling back, or even when you finally get to this pillar, you can very easily smoke off this molly off this left side here. Mollying off this left side is great because it does stop or at least hinders people from pushing, and you could very easily hear if they do decide to run through that Molotov and push towards bench, and you can be ready for that. So in that scenario where you do molly this off, you can very easily take an angle, something like this, so that way if someone pushes onto site, you can very easily just kill them when they walk into your crosshair. Or you can take a more passive angle even and hold this angle because if your teammate on cat dies, as an example, you could always hold this angle because you know that they're going to be pushing up for you next. But playing on this pillar, and the reason why it's the best in my opinion, is because it allows so much time for your teammates to actually rotate. The enemy team does have to really push the site and try to push up as much as possible, which you'll have a teammate on cat to be able to help you out. Your molly alone will help you out, and then whatever angle you're holding will help you out as well too. So that'll just delay that even longer, and that's really what you want to do when playing passive on B-Site Mirage, is create that space and give as much time for your teammates to rotate and be able to help you out. You don't want to die on site, because if you die on site, it can end very poorly and possibly in a loss of a round. Now, another thing that you can do if you do get flashed off in this position, you do have a teammate playing cat. So say you do get flashed off in the same scenario, you can always fall back to bench right here, or jail as some people like to call it. The reason why is because you will have a teammate playing cat pillar, and if someone jumps out of the actual window itself for B apps, they have to check this corner, or they're already going to be preoccupied with your teammate cat that's shooting them. So there's no way that they're actually going to face you. So that's at least one easy kill right there. If multiple people jump out and you get the trade with your teammate and you line up that crossfire really well, then that's multiple people that you do get the kill on. Besides that, if one person jumps out and then another one jumps out, you are still in a good position to be able to try and counter that, unless they do get a nice one-tap headshot on you, which essentially would be pretty lucky as they would be jumping out of the window. So it just puts you at an advantage all around. At this point in time, you do have B apps smoked, so you can always throw a Molotov below window as well too, if time is allowed and you have enough time to actually be able to do that before they push out. You can try and do that, and that'll essentially put more damage down as far as the people on site. But with this Molotov here as well too, that leaves people, they can't come off of balcony. They have to either go farther down here and walk through part of your Molotov, or they have to go off of bench and wide swing you like this. Once again, they're moving, so unless they get the lucky one-tap headshot, then that's not going to do much for them, and you'll still have an advantage in this position as well, too. This is more of a passive-aggressive position, in my opinion, just because you are in a situation where it can possibly be a one-and-done position where you get one kill and then instantly die, so you are playing with that chance right there. But if you do get multiple kills, it once again creates time and space for your teammates to rotate. Now, of course, there are other places you can play on site as far as playing a passive position. It is going to be this angle here, or even this angle here. I feel like the other angles, such as bench and the empty pillar here, definitely set you up for better success because you have more to move around, more to maneuver, and on top of that, you do also have easy routes of throwing your mollies and other nades that you might have, such as flashes or another grenade, because in this situation, you're peeking wide open right here. Even if you just try to throw it real fast, you're still going to be peeking that angle. And same with this angle as well, too. If you want to throw a molly right there, you still have to peek out unless you bounce it off of here. So, and even then, they can still see you if they're on the edge of balcony. So, that's the reason why I don't necessarily fully mention those spots, as I feel like the spot in jail and the spot empty pillar is a whole lot better. Alright, so say you are throwing that beginning smoke into B-apps like I'm about to throw again here, and you do get people that are actually running through your smoke. The best option for you to do would be actually throw a Molotov directly behind that smoke, and the easiest way to do that is to actually do the same exact lineup as the smoke as well too. You'll throw that molly, and as you can see here, lands perfectly behind the smoke every single time. You don't have to worry about the smoke making it go out or anything like that, and if someone tries to push through, they're instantly going to be greeted by that molly and most likely fall back. Alright, so after going over a more passive hold, such as the one on pillar here, the one on bench over there as well too, you can also do more of a passive-aggressive hold as well, kind of similar to bench, where you get some early information and go from there, and that is essentially coming out of market window and going to this pillar here, lining yourself up with the corner, and throwing this molly deep inside. So as you can see, that molly does go deep inside of apps here, and I'll demonstrate as well. And it does block people off. It will actually force any sort of, I'll bounce it off the same angle. It will actually block off just generally the same corner right here. So they'll either have to play back right here or they'll have to go into this corner. After throwing that Molotov, you can always spam this angle as well too, and see if you do get any hits on anybody, as they might be standing there due to the Molotov. One thing that's nice about throwing this Molotov and it being deeper in apps, two things could happen. One, they will either smoke the Molotov, and that gives you an idea that they are pushing, and then from there you can play kind of an off angle. You can play here, you can play close here, or you can even play close here unless you're able to fall back. Now, with that being said, if they don't smoke the molly and they do get ticked by the molly, you know most likely they're going to be going behind the window here. If they don't, then they don't, and you have that early information that they are actually in apps. So it is more of a kind of passive-aggressive type hold. With that, after throwing that Molotov and say they do smoke the Molotov, you can always sit under window here as well too, especially if you have a player playing cat and they're peeking from this angle. They are not going to necessarily be paying attention to you initially. So that's definitely something that you can do as well too. Alright, now for the final way of holding B-site, and that is gaining full apps control early on in the round. That's kind of more of an aggressive playstyle, so you'll get into the same corner where you do throw this smoke as far as your B-app smoke, but what you'll do is you will line up your smoke with just the edge of this line right here. You might have to test it out on your own inside of your essentially custom game, and with that being said, that lineup might not be the exact same, but it is in this general area for you. So like I said, you might have to test it out. But essentially, you'll hold the smoke here, you'll jump and throw. That will go ahead and very easily smoke off the back of apps. It can either land deep, depending on how you throw it and if you get the lineup right, or you can go ahead and attempt to throw it again. And this is why I'm saying you definitely got to check the lineup out as far as your own custom game goes, because it can be different. So essentially, you'll throw the smoke again here, and it should just land right in front of apps right here. So this is a great smoke as well too, because with that, you can, after throwing that smoke, you can throw that deep molly I threw earlier, and then it really does push people back into the same corner. If you want to get fully aggressive in apps, you can always pop flash this little corner and take this fight here and see if anyone's in this angle, and then you have that perfect flash. Now, if that smoke is still up as well too, you can always just spam the smoke as well. Now, if you do say spam this smoke, it really does confuse the T side after the smoke is gone, because you can be playing any angle on apps. You could be playing here, you could be playing here, or you could be playing back on this angle here. You could be playing an off angle as far as watching the cross. You could be playing on the window. You could be playing the balcony position, either side of the balcony position. So it really does set you up for a lot of the guessing as far as what the T's are going to do and not knowing exactly where you're going to play. So if you do something like this a couple of rounds in a row, they're probably going to expect you close, but they're still not going to know exactly what angle you'll be in. So holding that is also really good as well too. It does really help out, and it gets early control of apps, and that it can also give you information as long as if you hear them rotating out towards underpass, or your teammate might hear them rotating out towards underpass, that sort of thing as well too. So those are really the three main ways I feel that you can hold B-Site Mirage, and if you alternate between these in a game, it really doesn't leave the enemy with any knowledge of what you're going to do every single round. So having a default or anything like that, especially with a site like B-Site Mirage, definitely can put you at a disadvantage. And the reason why is because a site like this, you definitely need to keep people guessing, keep them on their toes, and it'll make them scared to push. It'll make them very hesitant to push, and if they do push, they'll be busy checking every single corner that you are not in, and you can easily line up some kills there as well too and hold the site for your teammates to rotate. That is the biggest thing, utility usage on this site, and then also creating space for your teammates so that way they can easily rotate over as well too, and getting early information helps out a ton, but you don't want to be too aggressive to where you're giving up a pick every single round. Now, if you do have any other tips as far as holding B-Site Mirage, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below if I could talk correctly, and definitely they might help someone out. So even if these tips didn't and someone already knew these tips and tricks, then your comment might be able to help someone out as well too. So if you do have any other video suggestions that you would like to make, feel free to leave that down in the comment section below as well too, as I will definitely make a video on that. But my name is Lunar, and I'll catch you all with another video next time.